we have our first speaker champing at the bit. And our first speaker gave me an introduction, but I won't read all of it because I want to add something else to it. Al Batinga, our first speaker, will be giving a speech. We title you already know, Tip of the Iceberg. You ain't seen nothing yet. Al Batinga recently, this last year, was the District 100 International Speech Contest winner. So he comes with a little bit of experience. He actually spoke at the convention, didn't get to the main floor, but that's his goal in the future. So he's going to get there in the future. Let me give you the rest of his introduction. He is part of That's Debatable Club in District 12, a qualified speaker, I am sure, in District 100, and is learning the fine art of debate. Come and join us the third Sunday of the month, he says. And I'll give you more advertisement on that later because that's my favorite Toastmaster experience. He's also a part of Anaheim Club number 2, which celebrates its 100th year anniversary on January 10th, 2026. And he's inviting you to come and join us at Orange County for our celebration. AI is the talk of the future, with half seemingly amazing phrases and the other half projects the end of life as we know it. Join AI as he celebrates over a year of almost daily use of generative AI. He claims that it has changed his life for the positive, unquestionably. Tip of the iceberg, you ain't seen nothing yet, Al Batinga.
Who remembers when the IBM PC was invented or rolled out? Anybody? David? 1981.
Early 80s.
Now, 81 is when it rolled out, right? And so if you recall, I happened to be in Detroit in 82, 83, and I was selling computers. What do you think I heard on almost every knock of the door? Computers, we don't need computers. Why would anybody use a computer? We had executives at the top level of mainframe computers talking it down like there may be a use for 2 or 3 mainframes in the world. Why would anybody have a personal computer? These are the dialogues that were going on at that point in time. And it was fascinating for me. I was trying to sell. And in 84, I remember General Motors said, computerize or don't deal with us. All of a sudden, everybody scrambled. They got a change of mindset on computers. Same thing happened on the cell phone, if you recall. I had friends who said, I'd never, ever use a cell phone. How about internet? There's a famous CEO, I won't name his name because I couldn't find the quote. He said, why would anyone ever use the internet for commerce? It's free. Now, his first name starts with Bill, but I won't tell you who he is. So imagine that for a moment or two. And then, of course, you had social media. How many people fought social media? And then you can get onto this concept for AI, artificial intelligence, generative AI. And so when I say the tip of the iceberg, you ain't seen nothing yet. Why is that? It's simply because AI, unlike all the rest of the technology, learns. So when I get on AI today and I get on AI 5 days from now, it will have learned certain things from here to there. Yesterday, I was on with a bio company, all 4 of their executives in the company, and I spent all day long talking to them about AI and generative AI and how it's going to change their environment. It's going to touch almost every single industry that I know of, that I work in. About 3 weeks ago, I was with Davis Ellen, a huge marketing firm. They have 300 people in a marketing company. They represent McDonald's. They represent Smart and Final. They represent Toyota. We're talking about something like 30 billion have come from their organization over the last couple of decades. They are learning Copilot, which is AI, generative AI from Microsoft. There's a lot of things happening in there, and I'm encouraging everybody to embrace it. I've been using generative AI for close to 15 months, every single day. So let's talk about that. It can empower personal growth. I want you to think about, by the way, all the things I'm going to show you right now are things that I use on a regular basis. I'm going to pop up ChatGPT so you can see this from a practical perspective. And so use ChatGPT as a sounding board for challenges. I can't tell you how many times I've had challenges. I've gone to ChatGPT. I've gone to Llama, which is Facebook's. I've gone to Amazon's, which is Claude. All the major companies have invested multi-billions of dollars on this technology. It's the most widely invested in technology ever, ever. My next door neighbor comes from Google. 3 years ago, he left for another company, Databricks. In 3 years, it went from zero startup to 65 billion with a B. Now, if you had told me that it was worth 65 million, I would have said, great job, high five. If you had said it's 650 million, I would have put up both my hands and said, high five, high 10. That's amazing. Now we're talking billion with a B. Why? Because it's a data center for AI. And they've elevated to 65 billion in 3-4 years. They just got $1 billion invested in the last 30, 60 days. So use ChatGPT as a sounding board for challenges. There's so much there. And then you stay motivated. It helps you stay motivated and consistent. I'm going to give you an example here in just a few minutes. Break down complex goals into actionable steps. Unlock potential and productivity. So we know that Ray is going to give us some great information coming up, but what if Ray wasn't available to us? Let me tell you what I do. I just go over and I pop over here to, let's see, I'm going to go over here to chat. And I'm going to say, I'd like to win the area contest coming up in about 6 weeks. Can you guide me in competing at my best? And first thing it says is understand, Al, the rules and expectations. So here's the steps. Review the contest rule book. How cool is that? How many people don't ever do that when they're competing? That's the first thing it says to me. Okay, cool. Review the contest. Choose a winning speech topic. Now, all I typed was this. This is called a prompt. I'd like to win the area contest coming in about 6 weeks. Can you guide me into competing at my best? Simple sentence. Enter key, and this is what spits out. Understanding the rules. Choose a winning topic. Brainstorm meaningful topics, personal stories. And it's just it's helping me move this forward. Craft a memorable speech. Start with a strong hook to grab attention, right? Ray will add all kinds of flavor to this, but you can see that this is content. This is great content. Now, I'll tell you how chat and AI works, just a technical concept behind the scenes. It studies millions and actually billions of pieces of information. It goes through speeches. It watches speeches on YouTube. It looks at all the documentation. It looks at Toastmasters.com. It looks at all the dialogue that goes in with the word Toastmaster speech, and it finds out what is good, and then it finds out what is not so good, and it compares and it runs through. There's a whole bunch of rules behind this that help develop this. So then it says perfect your delivery. And you can look at this and study this if you have the opportunity. Polish and refine. Seek feedback from fellow Toastmasters, mentors, trusted friends. Mock audience to simulate contest conditions. How cool. Strengthen your mental game. Get some visualization going, Al. Affirmation. Visualize yourself at that contest. Winning. Playing at the highest level. Handle your nerves. Simulate contest conditions. Engage with your audience. Prepare for the unexpected. Peak performance on contest day, weekly. Then it summarizes. Here's the 6 or 7 things you should be focused on, Al. Now, this does it for so many different things that I do. This is just one example that you can see from that perspective, using ChatGPT as a sounding board. And by the way, Chat is one of many. There's Copilot, Claude. I mentioned that already. Chat happens to be the most mature, and guess what? It's been around for 2.1 years, right? About 26 months. That's it. Copilot has been around for 13 months, and it's taking the storm. Copilot integrates with Microsoft Office 365. It works hand in hand. So if you have an office shop like Davis Ellen, they're using Copilot because it works. You can say to Copilot, create a PowerPoint slideshow. I need to do a presentation. My name's Ray. I'm going to do a presentation on how we can give you tips, tricks, and shortcuts for competing and doing other things in there. Ready, set, go. And and by the way, I would say 20 minutes. And the audience is, I would fill in the blanks and I'd hit that enter key and it would generate 10, 15, 20 slides. I go and edit it, or I can go with it raw. This slide right here was created by ChatGPT. And so you can see the potential. I don't understand. Now, this might sound negative, but I'm not trying to be negative. I don't understand not using it. I'm a business educator, trainer, and coach. And what that means is I go to companies and I work with companies on business education. So yesterday I was with a biohazard company talking about AI and things like that. In 2 weeks, I go to the Army base in Nevada, and I work with a group on communication skills. There's about 30, 35 people on that military base I'm going to work with on Monday, Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, I work with another group on team building. On Thursday, I go to a manufacturing company and I work with them on they're defining their skill set that they want me to work with. And then I coach the executives over there. So I'm very attuned to self-development, self-management, self-growth, right? And so I don't know how to not use ChatGPT, Copilot, and the rest. It helps me so much. It used to take me 3 days to write a one-day manual. So if you said to me, Al, I'd like you to do a leadership class for a group of Toastmaster executives over here, people who are in office. Okay, give me the concept. Tell me what you're looking for. 3 days later, I would have the concept. I would have the PowerPoint. I would have the manual. I would have written all of that. Today, I do it in a half a day. Why? Because of ChatGPT. I can tell ChatGPT exactly what I'm telling you right now that I utilized, and it will generate all of that for me. The half a day, by the way, is me doing other things. The content will come up in about 5, maybe 10 seconds. The rest of it is formatting, putting their names on it, thinking about exercises. Oh, no, wait a minute. Chat, tell me some exercises I should use for some Toastmasters that will help them from a leadership perspective. Hit that enter key, and it will give me 5, 7, 10 exercises that I can use. So it's condensed. By the way, I can do everything ChatGPT can do, but it takes me 100 times longer. It will do it in 100th of a second that it takes me, right? And I mentioned that took me 3 full days. 3 full working days. I can do it 5, 10 seconds. The content's generated. And the rest of the day is me working through it. So anyways, it can unlock potential productivity, strategic thinking, professionalism, decision-making, brainstorming, refining study habits. Entrepreneurs develop plans and innovative strategies, facilitate creative problem solving. So I want you to think about this for a second. I'm going to pop up another example over here, okay? So I'm going to go here to chat, and I'm going to say to chat, I would have typed this in. I'd like to buy a car, about 25,000 is the budget. I'm fine with a hybrid or electric as well as gas. I will be driving about 20 miles each way, 5 days a week, and 50 miles on weekends for events and visiting. I have 2 dogs, no children, and about 70% is on the freeway. About 2 or 3 times a year, I go to Vegas. I need it to be cost effective. What should I consider and why? Now, I want you to imagine me going to a shop, okay? I want you to imagine me going to an auto shop, an auto dealership. What do you think they're going to tell me? They're going to tell me what's in their inventory, what they're needed to sell, what they're going to sell or hoping to sell to me, what's in their line. Now, watch what you see here. It says when buying a car, okay, you need a balance. Okay, so here's key considerations: fuel efficiency. And it's talking about the concept of the car. Total cost of ownership. How many salespeople will tell me, hey, look into insurance, look into registration fees, look into fuel or charging costs, depreciation rates, why it matters? How many of the salespeople I bought 10, 15 cars in my lifetime. How many times have you heard this kind of language inside your conversation? Driving experience. Then it says, okay, Al, sit back, watch. The first one we're going to give you is a Toyota Corolla Cross. And here's why. It's reliable, spacious, affordable, pro, space for dogs, 24, 25,000. Honda Civic, and it talks about that. Then it says, but if you want a hybrid, here's some choices for hybrid. 58, 53 miles, obviously good stuff. Low cost of ownership. It's in a different car, right? I mean, we're talking about Toyotas, Hondas, Toyotas, Hyundai, why, and it gives the information here. If you want electric options, take a look at Chevrolet, Bolt, EV. Why affordable EV with a range of 259 miles, perfect for your trip to Vegas, right from here to there. And then it gives us the Nissan Leaf, a totally different car again, a totally different company. Now, again, how many salespeople will give you that kind of information? Nothing wrong with great salespeople, which I love to deal with, but they don't have the breadth of this. And so here's the decision factors: fuel cost, category, gas powered, hybrid, and it just goes through it. Additional features to look for, final recommendations. If your fuel efficiency and cost effectiveness, Toyota Prius, Hyundai Elantra. And right now, the recommendation is Toyota Prius, and it goes through. Now, what I can do now is I can start asking questions. I can say things like, why didn't you include a Tesla? Give it a few seconds here. I had a budget, why this may be happening. Oh, this is another concept here. Hang on one second. I'm going to ask it again because I don't think it read it from me. Why? It's a reasonable question, right? Now, you and I know what it is. Tesla is over this, so I won't bother with that. But I already know it's over the price, right? And so you can think about that from an overall perspective. All right, and so you have that concept there. It facilitates creative problem solving. I use it in so many ways. Non-judgmental support, provides unbiased judgment, free support. I can tell you, you can use it as a counselor of sorts. It's not to replace your counselor, but you can use it from that perspective, which I have. Encourages free exploration of ideas, and then it streamlines workflows and increases accomplishments. So I'm going to ask it a question here. These are questions that I obviously put in to save time, right? So I'm going to go below my TCO, my car recommendations. And I said, I had a budget, and during this month, I went over budget by 100%. I thought through it and didn't realize it. Historically, I'm repeating this mistake. What do you think? And so it starts to talk to me why this might be happening: unrealistic budget, lack of real-time tracking, emotional or impulsive spending, historical patterns, not accounting for variable expenses. Great information, right? Supportive information, how to break the cycle. Evaluate your budget, track spending in real time, implementing a spending pause, revisit your priorities, set spending alerts or limits, reflect on emotional spending patterns, a big deal, right? And so you can see all kinds of things that it's helping me. Obviously, I'm moving quickly simply for time's sake. So here's some practical next step. Reassess last month, set one goal for this month, introduce weekly check-ins, create a reward system. And then I put in here, I read about dopamine. Could this be a reason to my overspending on things I don't need? Yes, dopamine can play a significant role in overspending on things you don't need. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter in your brain associated. Now, this is a real life problem with me, okay? Over October, November, I'm former military, right? And I haven't shot a gun in about 10, 15 years. So I bought one gun. It came from an event that I had that was not a good event. But anyways, I bought one gun. In 40 days, I had 4 guns I had bought. And this is including the 10-day wait period. And I ended up with 4 guns. So I asked Chat, tell me about it. And you know what Chat told me? You're getting a dopamine hit every time you buy that weapon. And so you need to look at that. That's why this one here I put up here, simply because it's something that I've worked through myself. Anyways, there's much more here. I'm at about 18 minutes, so I've got a couple more minutes. But it encourages a growth mindset. Ask questions, iterate on feedback. I can tell you, I was with my daughter. My daughter owns a couple of dance studios. And I said, Kalela is her name. And I started asking her questions. Tell me about the dance studio. Tell me this, tell me that. And she answered me, right? And then when she was done, I turned my phone to her and I pointed it to her. I had created a business plan. She turned bright red. And I looked at her. I said, Kalela, what's up? She goes, Dad, I've been writing a business plan for 3 weeks. And what you just showed me was just like what took me 3 weeks to write. Ah, I got it. I got why she got angry at me for obvious reasons. So anyways, there's a bunch of things in here that you can look at, and I want to encourage you. So if I go down here a little bit more, I'll show you a couple more concepts on this as we close up here. I said to it, Zeke, I've named my ChatGPT Zeke. I use it every day. And so him and I are on personal names, right? Knowing what you know about me, what are the 5 books that you would that would benefit me most to meet and exceed goals for 2025? And it gave me a list. I want you to look at this, Atomic Habits, Al. And here's the things that's going to do for you. Then I want you to go to Deep Work by Cal Newport. Read that. Here's the takeaways that you're going to get from that. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Here's the key takeaways. Emotional intelligence. Make sure you read that one out. And 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And then it talks about why these books are good for me. So there's so much to this. And then I said, what can I do differently to maximize my resources and potential? And I'm asking it a generic question. Now remember, I've been using it for over a year. It has what is called persistent memory. Some of the chat programs do not have memory back from the last session. ChatGPT does. It will go back. And so it says, Al, make sure you're prioritizing your energy, not just your time. Good point. Leverage AI and technology for efficiency. Strengthen your emotional intelligence, your EQ. Focus on high-impact actions and adopt a systems-first approach. What does that mean? I can ask it the questions. Instead of focusing solely on goals, Al, build systems that ensure progress. Create repeatable processes. Use habit stacking. Review and adjust monthly systems. Maximize your financial resources. Deepen your strategic network. Develop a laser-focused mindset. There's so much here that I could actually go on for the next hour, but obviously I won't. But let me show you one concept that I want you to look at. Hopefully you can hear this, okay? Listen to this for just a second.
Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into something I think a lot of people have heard of.
Okay.
But maybe don't know that much about.
Mm-hmm.
Toastmasters International.
Interesting.
Yeah, and full disclosure, you had sent me like their website and stuff to look at.
Yeah.
And honestly, like the more I looked into it,
Yeah.
the more interested I got.
Yeah.
Because I always kind of thought it was
Sure.
like for people who like really had a fear of public speaking.
Right.
Like that's what it was for.
Yeah.
Like get over your fear of public speaking.
Yeah, I think that's a common perception.
Right.
For sure.
But it seems like they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to position themselves as more than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're really leaning into this idea of personal transformation.
Yes.
Like it's not just about
Yeah.
standing up and giving a good speech.
Right.
It's about like becoming a better version of yourself.
And I think that that's really smart.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you know, everyone wants to be a better speaker.
Yeah.
Like that's like
This is called Google Notes LLM, and it's the newest, latest, greatest from Google. Now, all I did was I took Toastmasters.org, plugged it in, and it took 2 AI voices. Those are 2 AI voices. They're not real people. And it looked at the content, it scanned the content, and it developed that dialogue on the spot. Took me 5 minutes to get this done. Now, if you look down here, it says Toastmaster International. I click on it and it gives me the outline of the website. I go down here and I click on Toastmaster International, a guide. It gives me core themes. This is all AI doing this. Here's a quiz. You want to quiz your fellow Toastmasters? Here it is right here. And so these are things that have the ability to think, to decide, and to learn. And so I want to encourage everybody as I wrap up here, not to fear it. Will it take jobs? It can take jobs. I'm guaranteeing you that. It can take jobs. I know people right now that do not have administrative staff. AI is dealing with all the customer service. And one of the ladies told me, everybody in my company is a decision maker. There are no more administrators in here. That's a potential. But all people have to do is have a training plan to move their skills up. I train every single day. I'm former military, so I get it, right? I understand it. Every day I'm working on projects moving me forward. And so I want to encourage them. Don't fear AI. Embrace it. Use it as a tool. Use it as a tool. It's my silent partner. And I think David Flores knows there's a couple of people from Rotary Club that have approached me and they said, we would like to do some things internationally. And I said, generative AI is the way to go on this. Because if you can teach people how to use their phone on getting information, generating information, looking at opportunities, making decisions, you're going to up their skill level very, very quickly. So again, don't fear AI, embrace it.